66 million years ago, a rock the size of a city slammed into Earth near modern-day Mexico, unleashing firestorms, earthquakes, tsunamis, and a global winter that wiped out roughly 75% of all life, including the dinosaurs. It was the ultimate reset button. But what if that asteroid had missed? What if the sky had remained clear, the forests untouched, and the age of dinosaurs never ended? It's easy to romanticize this alternate timeline. Massive beasts still roaming the Earth, humans riding triceratops like horses, soaring through jungles teeming with pterosaurs. But reality would be far stranger and far more complex. Because if the dinosaurs never went extinct, the entire history of mammals and humans would likely have played out very differently, if at all. To begin with, dinosaurs had already ruled the planet for over 160 million years. That's over 60 times longer than humans have existed. During their reign, they occupied nearly every ecological niche on land, in the skies, and even in water. From the towering sauropods to the fast and nimble raptors, from crocodile-like phytosaurs to bird-like troodontids, they had evolved to fit almost every environment. Mammals at the time were mostly small, nocturnal insectivores, surviving under the shadow, literally and figuratively, of their giant cousins. If the extinction event hadn't happened, dinosaurs would have kept dominating the planet, and mammals would have remained in the margins, at least for a while. Human ancestors as we know them wouldn't have evolved, because the primate lineage wouldn't have had the ecological room to diversify. No apes, no humans, no cities, no smartphones. Just endless variations of scaled giants. But let's stretch our imagination. Let's say somehow over tens of millions of years, mammals did manage to slowly diversify despite the presence of dinosaurs. What kind of Earth would they be stepping into? For starters, the landscape would be alien. Giant herbivores like sauropods would still be shaping ecosystems by trampling forests, eating tons of vegetation daily, and spreading seeds through their dung. Carnivorous dinosaurs like tyrannosaurs, megaraptors, or newer, unknown predator species would continue to be apex hunters, forcing other creatures to evolve defensive adaptations, armored skin, speed, camouflage, maybe even cooperative behavior akin to modern primates or wolves. Forests would be sculpted by massive creatures brushing aside trees, creating clearings, and maintaining grassland corridors. You wouldn't see herds of deer or wildebeest. You'd see packs of feathered theropods, flocks of ancient flying reptiles, and herds of armored ankylosaurs defending their young against predators that stood 2 stories tall. And then there's the evolutionary arms race. Birds, already a subgroup of dinosaurs, would have continued to evolve in more diverse directions. Some may have grown larger, retaking roles lost after the extinction. Imagine birds the size of giraffes, or intelligent predator species combining avian agility with reptilian ferocity. Meanwhile, marine reptiles like mosasaurs and plesiosaurs might still dominate the oceans. Sharks might have fierce competition. Whales might never have evolved. If dinosaurs continued to reign supreme, ecosystems would be thicker with danger and more extreme in competition. A mammal trying to survive in this world would need serious evolutionary advantages: high intelligence, agility, tool use, and cooperation. And that's where things get interesting. Assuming mammals were slowly carving out their niche alongside dinosaurs, intelligence could have become their key survival mechanism. Just as primates became smarter to adapt to tree life and later savanna life, maybe another species, something like a raccoon, lemur, or even a badger, could have evolved upward into a humanoid. It wouldn't be us exactly, but maybe something like us. Bipedal, curious, social, and intelligent. But they'd be doing it in a world where every step outside shelter risked running into a 3-ton predator with 9-inch teeth. That alone might drive early hominins, or their equivalents, to become faster thinkers, stealthier hunters, or cave dwellers armed with fire. Our version of prehistory could have been one of high-stakes survival, where villages had to build barriers against nightly dinosaur raids, and weapons evolved earlier to defend against larger threats. Spears, slings, even primitive ballistas might have emerged sooner, not for hunting deer, but for holding off carnivorous dinosaurs at the forest edge. Agriculture, if it developed at all, would have looked wildly different. Giant herbivores might decimate early crops in a single pass. Farming communities might have evolved fortresses and early defense structures, not unlike medieval castles, just to protect their food. The idea of domesticating animals would also be complicated. Can you imagine trying to tame a creature that could swallow you whole? But perhaps some dinosaurs would have been tameable. Just like wolves were eventually turned into dogs, maybe some smaller feathered theropods, clever, social, omnivorous, could be brought into the human sphere. Not for hunting rats, but for early warning systems. A barking dinosaur pet that screeches when predators approach? It's not that far-fetched. What about technology? Here's where it gets even more speculative. If humanity, or its equivalent, managed to rise alongside dinosaurs, the development of tools, weapons, and machines might have happened faster, driven by necessity. You need more than a spear when the jungle holds creatures with armor, claws, and superior strength. Firearms might have emerged centuries earlier. Walls and forts would be more advanced. Cities would need to be designed around defense and warning systems. A dino siren might be as normal as a fire alarm. Transportation, too, could have taken a different turn. Rivers and elevated walkways might dominate urban planning. People would avoid walking through dino zones altogether. Perhaps air travel becomes more desirable earlier, not for speed, but for safety. Trade routes might be aerial or aquatic to avoid land beasts. Roads would be fortified. Jungles would be cleared or avoided entirely. Religion and mythology would also be shaped by the presence of these living giants. Ancient cultures might worship certain dinosaur species as gods or demons. T-Rex-like creatures could be seen as omens, while more peaceful herbivores like stegosaurs might be viewed as spiritual guardians. Rituals could revolve around dino migrations, sacrifices made to appease apex predators, or myths explaining why humans are forever in their shadow. Art would reflect this reality. Cave paintings might show not mammoths, but raptors. Sculpture might revolve around surviving a dinosaur attack or honoring the slayer of a massive beast. Literature and stories would be soaked in fear and fascination. The concept of dragons might not be myth. They might just be exaggerated versions of real beasts outside the city walls. And if we fast forward to the modern era, imagine a 21st century Earth where humans live in domed cities, surrounded by electrified walls, with drones constantly scanning for carnivorous dinosaurs that roam the wildlands outside. Entire stretches of wilderness might be declared dino territory, protected by law, but also avoided by most civilians. Or perhaps the rich go on dino safaris, tracking herbivores in controlled zones like futuristic Jurassic Parks. Except the dinosaurs were never resurrected. They just never left. Environmentalism would carry a different tone. We'd talk not about saving endangered species, but about surviving apex ones. The balance of power between humans and nature would be more precarious. Cities might be built in vertical layers, or underground, or in places dinosaurs can't reach. The idea of a zoo might be reversed. Dinosaurs might roam free while humans stay enclosed. Medicine would also reflect this dangerous world. Anti-venoms for dinosaur bites, special trauma centers for crush injuries, maybe even bioengineering. Humans altering themselves for speed, endurance, or camouflage. Evolution might not stop with brains. It might go full sci-fi with genetic enhancements to survive the dino-dominated wilds. And politics? Global cooperation might emerge sooner out of mutual fear. Nations sharing tech and intelligence to control dinosaur populations, or create safe corridors between cities. A global dinosaur prevention treaty might exist, with satellites monitoring migration patterns. Some cultures might integrate dinosaurs into their society, using them for farming, construction, or even warfare. Others might isolate entirely, building megastructures in the skies or under oceans to escape. But what about extinction? Would dinosaurs still be here today, or would some have died off naturally over time? It's possible that over millions of years, environmental pressures, changing climates, or even diseases could have caused the decline of certain dinosaur groups. But without the asteroid, that process would have been gradual. Many species would have survived, adapted, or evolved into entirely new forms. The birds we see today are technically dinosaurs, but in this alternate timeline, they wouldn't be the only survivors. They'd just be the smaller cousins of giants still roaming Earth. And maybe, just maybe, humans would have found a way not just to survive, but to coexist. Picture a future where urban centers are surrounded by protected dino lands, where school field trips involve watching triceratops graze in the distance, where drone footage of flying reptiles dominates nature documentaries. Scientists might study dinosaur communication, social behavior, even emotional bonds. Biologists would write papers on interspecies ethics. Philosophers would debate the moral rights of apex predators. And maybe a child growing up in this world wouldn't ask, "Did dinosaurs really exist?" But rather, "Can I have one as a pet?" In the end, the extinction of the dinosaurs gave us a chance to rise. It opened the door for mammals to take over, for apes to climb, for humans to walk, build, speak, and dream. Without that moment, we likely wouldn't be here. But if we were, we'd live in a world of monsters, beautiful, dangerous, majestic monsters. And every day would be a reminder that we were never meant to be the dominant species. We just got lucky.